Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 23. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shilakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम. Jai Shila Gurudev, Jai Shila Prabhupada. Reading from Canto 1, Chapter 14, Text 23. So, Arjuna has just came back from Dwarka. Now, Text 23. When he bowed at his feet, the king saw that his dejection was unprecedented. His head was down and tears glided from his lotus eyes. Seeing Arjuna pale due to heartfelt anxieties, king, remembering the indication of sage Narada, cautioned him in the midst of friends. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, "My dear brother, please tell me whether our friends and relatives such as Madhu, Bhoja, Dashraha, Araha, Satvaka, Andhaka and the members of the Yadu family are all passing their days in happiness. Is my respectable grandfather Sushena in a happy mood? And my maternal uncle Vasudev and his younger brothers are doing well. His 7 wives, headed by Devaki, and all sisters. Are they and their sons and daughter-in-law all happy? Are Ugrasena, whose son was the mischievous Kamsa, and his younger brother still living? Are Ridhika and his son Kritvarma happy? Are Akrura, Jayanta, Gada, Sarana, Surjit all happy? How is Balaram, the personality of Godhead and the protector of devotees? What have they written for this? Bhagavan Satvata Prabhu. Oh no. Where is that? Rama. Okay, Kashchidaste Sukham Ramo, Bhagavan Satvatam Pati Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Hastinapur, the capital of Pandavas, was situated somewhere near New Delhi, and the kingdom of Ugrasena was situated in Mathura. While returning to Delhi from Dwarka, Arjuna must have visited the city of Mathura, and therefore the inquiry about the king of Mathura is valid. Amongst various names of the relatives, the name of Ram or Balaram, eldest brother of Lord Krishna, is added with the words the personality of Godhead, because Lord Balaram is the immediate expansion of the Vishnu Tattva as Prakash Vigraha of Lord Krishna. Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, although one without a second, expands himself as many other living beings. The Vishnu Tattva living being are expansions of Supreme Lord, and all of them are quantitatively equal with the Lord. But expansions of the Jiva Shakti, the category of the ordinary living beings, are not equal with the Lord. One who considers the Jiva Shakti and the Vishnu Tattva to be on equal level is considered a condemned soul of the world. Shri Ram or Balaram is the protector of the devotees of the Lord. Baldev acts as the spiritual master of all devotees, and his causeless mercy the fallen souls are delivered. Shri Baladev appeared as Shri Nityananda Prabhu during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, and the great Lord Nityananda Prabhu exhibited his causeless mercy by delivering a pair of extremely fallen souls, namely Jagai and Madai. Therefore, it is particularly mentioned here that Balaram is the protector of devotees of the Lord. By his divine grace only one can approach Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, and thus Balaram is the mercy incarnation of the Lord, manifested as spiritual master, the savior of devotees. Text 30. How is Pradyumna, the great general of the Vrishni family? Is he happy? And is Aniruddha, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, faring well? Srila Prabhupada's purport. Pradyumna and Aniruddha are also expansions of personality of Godhead, and thus they are also Vishnu Tattva. At Dwarka, Lord Vasudev is engaged in transcendental pastimes along with his plenary expansions, namely Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, and therefore each and every one of them can be addressed as personality of Godhead, as it is mentioned in the connection with the name Aniruddha. सर्वस्य सुखम अस्ते महारथा गंभीरा रयो निरुद्धा. Okay. 31. Are all the chieftains sons of Lord Shri Krishna, such as Sushen, Charudeshan, Samb, son of Jambati, and Rishabh, along with the son, all doing well? Srila Prabhupada purports. As mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,210 is 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their fathers, and whole aggregate is near 16,10,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the father of all living beings, who are countless in number. Therefore, only few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwarka on the earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthir, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons at Dwarka, mentioned only the chieftains among them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Text 32 and 33. Also, Shutadev, Uddhava, and others, Narada, Sonanda, and other leaders of liberated souls who are constant companions of the Lord are protected by Lord Balram and Krishna. Are they all doing well in their respective functions? Do they who are all eternally bound in friendship with us remember our welfare? Srila Prabhupada's purport. The constant companions of Lord Krishna, such as Uddhava, are all liberated souls, and they descend along with Lord Krishna to the material world to fulfill the mission of the Lord. The Pandavas are also liberated souls, who descend along with the Lord Shri Krishna to serve him in the transcendental pastimes of the earth. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, the Lord and his eternal associates, who are also liberated souls, like the Lord, come down to the earth at certain intervals. What was 4.8? 4.7 तो यदा यदा ही
परित्राणाय
साधूनाम विनाशाय च दुष्टानाम. Okay. The Lord remembers them all, but his associate, although liberated due to एक सेकंड म्यूट तो नहीं हूँ नहीं. Okay. हाँ. The Lord remembers all, but his associate, although liberated souls, forget due to their being the touched Sakti or marginal potency of the Lord. That is the difference between the Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. The Jiva Tattva are infinitesimal potential particles of the Lord, and therefore they require the proportion of the Lord at all times, protection of the Lord at all times. And to the eternal servitors of the Lord is pleased to give all protection at all times. The liberated souls never therefore think themselves as free as the Lord or as powerful as the Lord, but they always seek the protection of the Lord in all circumstances, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. The dependence of the liberated soul is constitutional, for the liberated soul are like sparks of fire that are able to exhibit the glow of fire along with the fire and not independently. Okay, this is important, I think. The dependence of the liberated soul is constitutional, for the liberated souls are like sparks of fire that are able to exhibit the glow of fire along with the fire and not independently. Independently, the glow of spark is extinguished, although the quality of fire of glowing is there. Okay. Thus, those who give up the protection of the Lord, become so-called Lord themselves, out of spiritual ignorance, come back again to the material world. Even after prolonged tapasya of the severest type, that is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. 34. Is Lord Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead who gives pleasure to the cows? Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanya Bhakta Vatsala Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukham Aste Suhid Vritah. The Lord Krishna, personality of Godhead, who gives pleasure to the cows, the senses, and the brahmanas, who is very affectionate towards his devotees, enjoying the pious assembly at Dwarka Puri, surrounded by friends. Would you like to take from here?
Sure. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here, in this particular verse, the Lord is described as Bhagwan, Govinda, Brahmanya, and Bhaktavatsala. He is Bhagavan Swayam, or the original personality, supreme personality of Godhead, full with all opulences, all power, all knowledge, all beauty, all fame, and all renunciation. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is Govinda because he is the pleasure of the cows and the senses. Those who have purified their senses by the devotional service of the Lord can render unto him real service and thereby derive transcendental pleasure out of such purified senses. Only the impure conditioned living being cannot derive any pleasure from the senses. But being illusioned by false pleasures of the senses, he becomes servant of the senses. Therefore, we need his protection for our own interest. The Lord is a protector of the cows and the Brahmanical culture. A society devoid of cow protection and Brahmanical culture is not under the direct protection of Lord, just just as the prisoners in the jails are not under the protection of the king, but under the protection of a severe agent of king. Without cow protection and cultivation of the Brahmanical qualities in the human society, at least for a section of members of society, no human civilization can prosper at any length. By Brahmanical culture, the development of the dormant qualities of goodness, namely truthfulness, equanimity, sense control, forbearance, simplicity, general knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and firm faith in Vedic wisdom, one can become Brahmana and thus see the Lord as he is. And after surpassing that Brahmanical perfection, one has to become a devotee of the Lord so that his loving affection in the form of proprietor, friend, master, son, and lover can be transcendentally achieved. The stage of a devotee which attracts the transcendental affection of the Lord does not develop unless one has developed the qualities of a Brahmana, as above mentioned. The Lord is inclined to a Brahmana of quality and not of false prestige. Those who are less than a Brahmana by qualification cannot establish any relationship with the Lord. Hmm. Just as fire cannot be kindled from the raw earth unless there is wood, although there is relationship between wood and the earth. Since the Lord is all perfect in himself, there could be there could not be any question of his welfare, and Maharaj Yudhishthir refrained from asking this question. He simply inquired about his residential palace, Dwarkapuri, where pious men assembled. The Lord stays only where pious men assemble and takes pleasure in their glorifying the Supreme Lord, truth. Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about the pious men and their pious acts in the city of Dwarka. Text 35 and 36. The original personality of Godhead, the enjoyer, the Balrama, the primeval Lord Ananta, are staying in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection, and general purpose of the entire universe. And the members of the Yadu dynasty, being protected by the arms of the Lord, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky. Purport. As we have discussed many times, the personality of Godhead Vishnu resides within each and every universe in two capacities, namely the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu and Shirodakshaya Vishnu. The Shirodakshaya Vishnu has his own planet on the northern top of the universe. And there is a great ocean of milk where the Lord resides on the bed of Ananta, incarnation of Baldeva. This Maharaj Yudhishthir has compared the Yadu dynasty to the ocean of milk and Sri Balram to the Ananta, where Lord Shri Krishna resides. Uh, He has compared the citizens of Dwaraka to the liberated inhabitants of the Vaikuntha Lokas, beyond the material sky, further than we can see with our own eyes, and beyond the sevenfold coverings of the universe. Sevenfold coverings of the universe? ऊपर हाँ
आदि पुरुष क्या हो गया सफारी सेवनफोल्ड कम्युनिटीज ऑफ द यूनिवर्स यस अरे भाई चलो हरी हरी गोविंदा आदि पुरुष वाटर फायर एयर ईगो न्यूमेरियन एंड मटेरियल नेचर
ओह
ये सेवन फोल्ड कवरिंग्स ऑफ द यूनिवर्स सो इधर देख सकते हैं अर्थ
अर्थ नहीं है
अर्थ है अर्थ वाटर फायर एयर अर्थ वाटर फायर एयर स्काई द टोटल एनर्जी एंड फॉल्स इको तो महातत्व अर्थ वाटर फायर स्काई एंड फॉल्स इको
Okay, thank you. Sevenfold coverings of the universe. There is a casual ocean in which sky generally not all the universes are floating like footballs. Footballs. And beyond the causal ocean, there is an unlimited span of spiritual sky, generally known as the effulgence of Brahman. Okay, beyond the causal ocean, there is an unlimited span of spiritual sky, generally known as effulgence of Brahman. Within this effulgence, there are innumerable spiritual planets, and they are known as Vaikuntha planets. Each and every Vaikuntha planet is many, many times bigger than the biggest universe within the material world. And in each of them, there are innumerable inhabitants who look exactly like Lord Vishnu. These inhabitants are known as Mahapaurushikas. Mahapaurushikas. Okay. Or persons directly engaged in the service of the Lord. They are happy in those planets and are without any kind of misery. And they live perpetually in full youthfulness, enjoying life in full bliss and knowledge, without fear of birth, death, old age, or disease, and without the influence of Kala, eternal time. Maharaj Yudhishthir has compared the inhabitants of Dwaraka to the Mahapaurushikas of Vaikuntha Loka because they are so happy with the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are many references to the Vaikuntha Lokas, and they are mentioned there as Madhama or kingdom of the Lord. Oh, yeah. Translation. Simply by administrating comforts at the lotus feet of the Lord, which is most important of all services, the queens of Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoyed things which are prerogatives of wives of the controller of Thunderbolts. Wait, simply by administrating comforts at lotus feet of Lord, which is the most important of all services, the queens of Dwaraka, headed by Satyabhama, induced the Lord to conquer the demigods. Thus, the queens enjoy things which are prerogatives. What do you mean by prerogatives? It's a special right that something has. Okay. Which are prerogatives of wives of the controller of thunderbolts. Purport. Satyabhama. One of the principal queens of Lord Shri Krishna at Dwarka. After killing Narakasura, Lord Krishna visited the place of Narakasura, accompanied by Satyabhama. He went to Indraloka also with Satyabhama, and she was received by Sachi Devi, who introduced her to the mother of demigods, Aditi. Aditi was very much pleased with Satyabhama and she blessed her with the benediction of permanent youth as long as Lord Krishna remained on earth. Aditi also took her with her to show her special prerogatives of the demigods in the heavenly planet. When Satyabhama saw Parijata flower, she desired to have it in her palace at Dwaraka. After that, she came back to Dwaraka along with her husband and expressed her willingness to have Parijata flower at her palace. Satyabhama's palace was especially bedecked with valuable jewels, and even in the hottest season of summer, that the inside of the palace remained cool, as if air conditioned. She decorated her palace with various flags, heralding the news of her great husband's presence there. Once, along with her husband, she met Draupadi, and she was anxious to be instructed by Draupadi in the ways and means of pleasing her husband. Draupadi was expert in this affair because she kept five husbands, the Pandavas, and all were very much pleased with her. One receipt of Draupadi's instructions, she was very much pleased and offered her good wishes and returned to Dwarka. She was the daughter of Shatrajit. Acha, Satyabhama was daughter of Shatrajit. After the departure of Lord Krishna, when Arjuna visited Dwarka, all the queens, including Satyabhama and Rukmini, lamented for the Lord with great feeling. At the last stage of her life, she left for the forest to undergo severe penance. Satyabhama instigated her husband to get the Parijata flower from the heavenly planets, and the Lord got it even by the force from the demigods. As a common husband secures things to please his wife, as already explained, the Lord had already very little to do with so many wives to carry out their orders like an ordinary man. But because the queens accepted the high quality of devotional service, namely administering the Lord all comforts, the Lord played the part of a faithful and complete husband. No earthly creature can expect to have things from the heavenly kingdom, especially the Parijata flowers, which are simply to be used by the demigods. But due to their becoming the Lord's faithful wives, all of them enjoyed the special prerogatives of the great wives of the denizens of heaven. In other words, since the Lord is a proprietor of everything within his creation, it is not very astonishing for the queens of Dwaraka to have any rare thing from any part of the universe.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. जय श्रीला गुरुदेव, जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद, निताई गौर हरि बोल. Tomorrow we'll read from 38.